Alright guys, this should be a quick video, and basically I'm going to show you how to refurbish this deck. First thing we need to do is get it all cleaned off. As you can see, there's a bunch of dirt on it, and essentially what we're going to be doing is weatherproofing it, but for really cheap. So first thing I got to do is clean this off. I'm going to use a pressure washer because I have one. You can use a garden hose, whatever it takes. Scrub it. Let's get her clean. My pressure washer wasn't doing the greatest job. It's pretty used, so I'm gonna scrub it down like this. Only the two hands, then I'll spray it again. Alright, so here's where it may cost you a couple bucks. You're gonna wanna have a paint roller, which you probably already have the roller, you just need the end to replace it with. And then some used cooking oil, or you can also use motor oil. I'm gonna show you both. And then I'll tell you why I like one versus the other. Spread it as thin as you can. Alright, there's one coat. Now I gotta let it soak in. He has no interest in the fact that it smells like fish. We'll have to clean his paws up before he goes inside though. Alright, so that's the first layer, allowed to thoroughly dry. I'm going to do a couple more layers. You may be wondering how many layers to do, and it kind of depends on how long it's been done since the last time you did it. I recommend putting a layer on like spring and fall, and then you should be able to keep up with it, but for the initial layer, I recommend like 3, maybe even 4. Kind of gauge it by how well it soaks up and how quickly it soaks up. But I'm going to do another layer. I'm going to use peanut oil, again, vegetable oil will work. Various cooking oils, and of course oil, which I'll show you later, but I'm doing that on the last coat for a reason. So one more of this, let's see how it goes. It's okay if it rains in between, you'll just have to wait. Alright, so you're probably looking at this and you're like, oh, he hasn't started yet. This is before everything. No, and this is going to be a good example of why I don't like to use the cooking oil. It absorbed it completely, and it's like it's not even there. Also, even though this will repel water, it doesn't do it quite as well because so much of that oil is soaked up. So now let's do the motor oil, and I'll show you why I like it. Something to mention before we put the motor oil on here is that if you plan to use this for garden dirt, you will not want to do that. If you use it for like yard dirt, topsoil, stuff like that, it's fine, but you do not want to use it for garden dirt. This is really hard to do one-handed, but I wanted to mention more so than with the vegetable oil, you want to make sure that this is as thin of a layer as possible. You don't want oil sitting on top where as soon as it rains it ends up running all over your yard and all over the road and everything else. So you want to spread it as thin as possible and make sure that they all get soaked up. If I see any excess afterwards, I'll actually wipe it up too. Alright, so let me coat this and I'll come back to you. Alright, so that's one layer. Doing this over the course of a few days here. Just takes like 10 minutes a day. Let's do another layer. Don't worry, the Tober boy is not allowed up here while I'm doing this stuff. And definitely not the loony bin. I'm gonna do another layer when it stops raining, but I thought I'd show you how it's pretty water resistant already. I just need the weather to cooperate. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys this after some heavy use. It's been about a year, and you can see that I've definitely used it quite a bit. As far as how much it sheds the water, it still does a good job. But this is about where I'd end up adding another coat when I'm not being lazy like I was last time. I also want to show you something else, okay? So here's another coat on it. A lot of people will take and they will cut this with diesel. And I wanted to talk about that because of the fact I've tried that before, and if you notice, the left side is cut with diesel. and you probably don't notice because it looks the same. They say that it soaks up faster. I have not really actually noticed that, and the amount that it would seems negligible. What it does do, though, is it means that this left side could actually burn a lot more than the right side. So I'm not really a fan of using it. It just seems to be extra steps, and if you don't have it laying around, why go buy it? The idea is to be cheap here. So yeah, till next time, keep creating.